Hello, welcome to another segment of We Would See Jesus. Today we want to speak on the subject, the angels of God. So we're going to start here in the book of Luke. In the 6th month of Elizabeth's pregnancy, God sent the angel Gabriel to Nazareth, a village in Galilee, to a virgin named Mary. She was engaged to be married to a man named Joseph, a descendant of King David. Gabriel appeared to her and said, "Greetings, favored woman. The Lord is with you." Confused and disturbed, Mary tried to think what the angel could mean. "Don't be afraid, Mary," the angel told her, "for you have found favor with God. You will conceive and give birth to a son, and you will name him Jesus." So in the Bible, there are approximately 20 instances of visitations from angels, and these are recorded visitations. Now, these were physical visits, and most angels looked fairly normal human. They weren't anything, didn't have wings and things like that. But there was always something different about them, though, because nearly always they would say, as Gabriel said here, "Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid." So there was something angelic about them that caused people to just like, whoa, it could have been a heavenly glow, could have been there's something about them that they would say, "Don't be afraid." And although many look normal, there are also angels who do have wings, because the Bible talks about cherubim. The cherubim are angels who have wings, and also the seraphim have wings. And the Bible also indicates that angels watch over us continuously, but they're unseen because they're spirit beings. I heard a funny meme. A guy said, "I don't believe anything that I can't see." And he has a cell phone, so that's a cell tower sending a signal. He's listening to music over Bluetooth. They can't see that. There's so many things around us every single day that we don't see, but we believe in them. And angels are like that. They are all around us. They are spirit beings, but they are unseen. In fact, here in the Bible, in the book of Hebrews, "But you have come to Mount Zion and to the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, to an innumerable company of angels." Now, there are approximately 8 billion people on the earth today. However, the number of angels is too great to be numbered. And by definition, the word innumerable means too great to be numbered. So the angels, the number of angels, are too great to be numbered. Also in the book of Hebrews, Paul writes, "But to which of his angels has God ever said, 'Sit at my right hand till I make your enemies your footstool'? Are they not all ministering spirits sent forth to minister for those who will inherit salvation?" So the angels, this innumerable company of angels, they are ministering spirits. And the definition of ministering spirits, these are spirits who look after the needs of a particular person or group. That's the definition of the word ministering spirit. Now, how is it that angels would desire to be our ministers? Why would they want to do that? Ministers place themselves on a lower level than those who they minister to. Why would they do it? This is what Jesus said. Jesus called them together and said, "You know that the rulers in this world lord it over their people, and officials flaunt their authority over those under them. But among you, it will be different. Whoever wants to be a leader among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first among you must become your slave. For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others, and to give his life as a ransom for many. So God's kingdom is built on serving others. Literally, that's how God's kingdom is designed. And when you are a blessing to another person or people, you personally are blessed by God. Personally. I mean, even Jesus washed his disciples' feet, and he is our perfect example of how to live. Here he was, the Lord of all, and he knelt down and washed his disciples' feet. And Peter, when he got to Peter, Peter says, "No, Lord, you're not going to wash my feet. This is well beneath you." And Jesus said, "Well, if I don't wash your feet, then you have no part of me." And he said, "Well, wash my feet, but also my hands and head too." So Peter was quite a character. Book of Matthew 18:10, "Be careful not to despise these little ones," talking about children. "I can guarantee that their angels in heaven always see the face of my Father who is in heaven." Now you've heard about guardian angels. We do have guardian angels. This is exactly what Jesus is saying. Their angels in heaven always see the face of my Father. We have guardian angels. I remember one experience in my life. I was just a young man. This was the early 1980s. And I was driving at the time a flatbed truck. And I was totally loaded. I had over 40,000 pounds of product on the flatbed. And I was going north on 101 out toward Axford Prairie, if you're familiar with that area, going toward Hump Tulips. And there's a corner, and I was coming around the corner going 60 miles an hour because that was the speed limit. And my front left tire blew out. Now, if you understand something about Highway 101 in the early 80s, it was heavily trafficked with log trucks. Heavily trafficked. This was when wood products was all the rage. And going north, they were typically empty trucks. And then coming back south, they would be full of logs. They would have logs. Well, when that tire blew, and it sounded like a shotgun, boom! It was all I could do to keep the truck from rolling because I was on a corner, and the truck, literally, I could feel that the truck wanted to just roll over. And so all I could do was just muscle it over to the left-hand shoulder. So I had to go across this lane of traffic and park it on the left-hand shoulder. If there had been a log truck coming, which would have been typical that time of the day, it was loaded with log trucks. If there had been a log truck, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. I would be gone. And 2 of my 3 children would never have been born. And 8 of my 9 grandchildren would not have been born. So what I'm saying is I had guardian angels watching over me that day, and I know it. To this day, I know that my guardian angels were protecting me. And I am very thankful for my angels. But I do want to cover the flip side of that. Book of Colossians, don't be cheated by people who make a show of acting humble and who worship angels. They brag about seeing visions, but it is all nonsense because their minds are filled with selfish desires. So on the flip side, don't worship angels. You can be thankful for angels. You can thank God for angels. And don't pray to angels. That's not, to worship angels embarrasses the angels. And praying to angels embarrasses the angels. And it's the same way with saints, by the way. You don't worship, you don't bow down to saints, and you don't pray to saints. You pray to God. And if I were a saint and you ever prayed to me, I would say, why are you praying to me? I'm the same as you. I'm simply a sinner saved by God's grace. Pray to God. And that's what the angels would say to you. Don't pray to the angels, pray to God. And God will give the angels their instruction, their orders, if you will. So angels are created just like we are, to glorify and adore and obey God. You see, Lucifer is the one that wanted to be worshiped. He was one of the angels that wanted to be worshiped. He wanted to be like God. And we're going to cover the fallen angels next week. But that's what caused the fall, is that they didn't want to serve man. They didn't want to be a servant. They wanted to lord it over men. They wanted to lord it over others. I'm going to move on back to the book of Hebrews. Don't forget to show hospitality to strangers. For some who have done this have entertained angels without realizing it. So understand, sometimes we're in the presence of angels and we don't even know it. And they look like a human, they look just pretty much normal. But entertaining strangers, sometimes you're entertaining an angel of God. And finally, I want to say angels eventually will usher us into the presence of God when the time comes. And I remember a quote by Billy Graham. He said, "When my time to die comes, an angel will be there to comfort me. He will give me peace and joy, even at the most critical hour, and usher me in to the presence of God, and I will dwell with the Lord forever." That's what we have for you today. God bless you all. We'll see you next week.